Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I'm super excited to finally unbox the mini table saw that I have right here. I've been eyeballing one of these for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I had this sent to me to do a video on, but I was going to purchase one regardless, and I'm super excited to get it because I do a lot of small pieces of cutting, like for little hobby stuff with the 3mm basswood that I use for laser engraving, and I thought this would be perfect to have. That way I can cut those pieces whenever I want. Like I have a lot of scraps that I save, and I don't want to bust out the big table saw or the miter saw because it is just way too big. So I got this, and I think it's going to be awesome. We're going to go ahead and test it out, see what it is, and get it unboxed. So let's go ahead and do that now. Here we go. So right off the top, we got the user manual, nice color instructions, and it comes with a bunch of bits and little grinding tools. Now this does use, I believe it's like a 0.5 all the way up to a 3.2 millimeter shank, which is this part right here. But if you have standard Dremel bits or anything like that, it definitely will work, and it is compatible. Some buffing discs, we got a little cleaning brush, and then of course here are our sanding discs and our blades, grinding disc, cutting wheel, and another cutting wheel, and a diamond grinding wheel as well. This is for the sanding pad, which is pretty nice. All right, here is the part that these pads actually stick to, so let's go ahead and try one and see how it works. And it's like Velcro. Pretty nice. Power adapter and all that cool stuff. Here is the Dremel tool. This is the clear acrylic safety guard. And finally, the little table saw. Look how tiny this thing is. This is going to be perfect for cutting little pieces of wood and basswood for me. I think this is going to be awesome. Okay, so the one thing is on this, the blade does not go up and down, which means the blade is in one stationary position at all times. So they do recommend that if you're not cutting with the table saw, that you don't have this blade installed. If you have this blade installed and it's going and you decide to move the machine for some reason, or if you're using this and it falls over, that's probably not going to be a good mix. So you want to make sure that you don't have that blade in unless you're actually going to use it. All right, check this out. Here's our little miter gauge. Let's go ahead and set it at 90 right now. It's actually kind of nice. There's not a whole lot of play in it whatsoever, so that's pretty cool. All right, guys, so we got everything hooked up. It's plugged in. I just want to remind you one more time for safety. When you turn this on, everything turns on. Your blade is going, your sanding disc is going, your Dremel tool is going, all at the same time. So if you plan on just using the Dremel tool, there's no need to have a blade inset in this, because if this moves or falls over, it could be very dangerous. Another thing is, if you are only using one tool, you're probably losing a little bit of power if you have everything in at once. So you want to go ahead and dismantle each one, because it's going to reduce a little bit of that force on whichever one you're planning on using. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and just run a test cut through it, and let's see how it does. All right, so that vibration that you're hearing, that is the miter gauge right here. Check it out. Look at that, it works. How awesome is that? And now it has a little bit of rough edges, so what we're gonna do is come over to the sanding disc. And there it is right there. How awesome is that? But you can see where this gets dangerous. If you're not paying attention and you put your hand over this, that could be very dangerous. I don't know if you can see this. Let me turn this off real quick. That is on the very first speed setting. That's only on, I think, 12,000 RPM. I think what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and crank it up to the fastest, and I'm gonna show you the 7 speeds. just like that. Cut these little tiny pieces. How awesome is that? All right, let's go ahead and step it up one notch and do something a little bit thicker. Let's go ahead and jump it all the way up 3/4 inch. It won't go through all the way. Well, it cut actually perfect through that 3/4 inch, with the exception that it didn't reach all the way through. So I think you have a max height of about 1/2 inch. Let's check that out. Yes. So you have about a max cut of 1/2 inch. So this is 1/2. Let's go ahead and see what happens. And there it is right there. But for what we're going to be using it for, this stuff right here, this is absolutely perfect. So let's go ahead and put an attachment on here. Let's see what we got for the tools, and we're gonna go ahead and try a Dremel piece. Let's try this one right here, just because it's on the end. What you need to do is just stick a Allen key right into this, and this will prevent it from spinning. So just go ahead and insert your bit, tighten it up, you should be good. This is actually really comfortable. This is nice and flimsy, which is really, really nice. Sometimes you get these are really tight. I have one from Walmart, and you could barely move this around. This is actually nice and loose. Let's go ahead and just turn this on and see how this does, and let's do a little bit of sanding, see how that works. All right, guys, that is it. That is the little micro table saw. That is absolutely awesome. I've been wanting one of these for a really long time, and I just want to thank MT for sending me this. Now, I did take off the sanding disc, and I did take off the rotary tool. I already have one of those. I have a sander over there, so I don't need that attached, and I don't need the rotary tool attached because I actually have one of those as well. I really just wanted this for the micro table saw to clean up all of these pieces of wood. There was nothing that I threw at it that it couldn't cut through. It basically took care of all of these pieces, but it's things like this that I have left over that get in the way. So I'm going to use this table saw to cut all of that stuff off when I'm done with each project, and I'll have this thing handy, ready to go. If you have a craft room in your house, this thing might be for you because it is absolutely tiny and it will fit in a drawer, and you can have multiple tools, a sanding tool, a Dremel tool, and a table saw to cut. Just be very careful. It is dangerous if you have all of these things hooked up at one time. If you don't need the table saw, do yourself the favor and take off the table saw blade while you're using the other tools. You'll be a lot safer. I will put a link in the description down below if you're interested. That is it. If you like this video, go down below, hit the like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button. That way you get notified of all of my newest videos. But until that next video, make sure y'all do one thing. Stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.